Before we start the show, let me tell you about the Oxford Exxon there on Highway 6 West in Oxford. Take advantage of their Super Bowl specials. We know that even if you're a Saints fan, you're probably going to watch the game. So get some wings. You can get 20 for $12.99, 50 for $29.99, or all the way at 100 for $59.99. Also, the ribs, always good specials with the ribs in the Oxford Exxon. 2 slabs for $25, 3 slabs for $33. So head on over, call ahead, and they will be wrapped up and ready for you on Sunday. And maybe you're driving a Clark Ford over to Blue Sky. Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900, Highway 25 South. Give Corey a call. 15 minutes later, you're going to have a quote. Shop it around. Take it. Either way, it will be the best deal. So when you're signing the paperwork, you're getting everything done, mention the podcast. He'll knock an extra $500 off for you there with Clark Ford. Now on to the show.
From the Clark Ford studio in Oxford, Mississippi, MBW Digital proudly presents the Oxford Exxon Podcast.
I'd say thanks for tuning in, but why am I going to give you a round of applause for something that you're supposed to do, to be frank?
And now, here are your hosts, Chase Parham.
That broadcast school has really paid off.
And Neal McCready.
I deserve to be on TV.
Friday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal McCready, Clark Ford studio this morning in our MPW Digital family of podcasts. Also today you'll get a beer garden presented by the Oxford Crystal. Larry Holder of the Athletic New Orleans joining Mr. McCready over here. Anthony Davis, Saints, a lot of New Orleans topics up with Larry. About a half-hour interview with him, so you can check that out soon. Or actually now on the site by the time you hear this. It will be up. It's already in iTunes as we are recording this morning. We'll also talk about the Missouri NCAA situation that came down yesterday. The Tigers had a rogue tutor, I guess, and that led to all sorts of punishments, all sorts of postseason bans, all sorts of football recruiting things, including my favorite part, the guy in charge of PR or whatever for the NCAA yesterday during their press conference admitting that it's better to not help the NCAA in its process. So good stuff there, as well as Ole Miss and Mississippi State tomorrow from the Pavilion, the second game of the season, pitting the Rebels and the Bulldogs after Ole Miss won in Starkville earlier in the season, and baseball a couple weeks away as well. So a lot going on. We'll get to all that today. I think we got some journalism takes. We got stuff today, so We'll talk here as we get started, and Mr. Crady, we'll start with Missouri because just because of Ole Miss's NCAA issues, it becomes a little more relevant to us than maybe it does anybody around the country. And I mean, I'm not as close as you are, but I'm decent friends with Mr. DeArmond in Missouri.
Sure.
I follow multiple Missouri people on Twitter for some reason I don't really understand.
Okay.
I'll be honest. I had no idea what was going on.
I didn't either.
None. I had no idea they were being investigated until I see Gabe's tweet where he's like, hammer time. And I'm like, whoa, what?
Well, I mean, literally yesterday, and I host a weekly podcast with Jay Tate and Gabe DeArmond, and yesterday our plan was to tape Thursday at 1:30, which we ultimately did. But about 9 o'clock, it's usually Jay, and I love Jay. If you're listening, I love you. It's usually Jay that something comes up, and Jay is one of these people. You used to be this way. You're not this way much anymore.
All right.
He's one of these people that if something's going on, he's kind of one track, and he can't multi-track. And so usually it's Jay who's like, guys, I can't do it at 1. I can do it at whatever. I just can't do it right now. And we have to scramble. And this time it was Gabe with, hey, this NCAA calls at noon. I'm going to be scrambling. I was like, what? NCAA call? What are you talking about? Because initially my thought was like, is there a tournament or something?
Yeah.
And then I went, what are you talking about? And he was like, the allegations. I'm like, I didn't know there were any. Damnedest thing. And so I pull it up and about the tutor and stuff. So anyway, I mean, Gabe came on Greatest Pod in the South, which is up on iTunes and wherever you get your podcast. I'm going to put it up on the site. It'll be there by the time you hear this. So Gabe's at the beginning. We talked to him for, 8 minutes or so about the NCAA case there. It's basically, Chase, about a tutor. It's basically about an academic person who did work for multiple athletes. I don't even think the football program knew about it until after the accusations were made.
Yeah, and look, there's a lot of elements. We're staying on main topics here. We're not digging into the Missouri case. However, there's two things. One,
it's Friday, and I'm like Mr. Candid today, so go for it.
well, yeah, because it's the NCAA report says that the tutor essentially pulled a Lee Harvey Oswald and acted alone. Okay, again, two things to that. One, give me a freaking break. There's not a rogue tutor that just decides, hey, I'm going to give 12 athletes tons of grades. Come on. Number one. And number two, though, if you're the NCAA, I put in my report she acted alone, and then I bring that hammer? Like, nothing makes sense about the entire stupid thing. They were, though, ladies and gentlemen, given exemplary cooperation. I saw that was a mitigating factor yesterday.
Because otherwise, what would they have done?
Oh, I know. Might have thrown the baseball program under the jail. So, I mean, postseason bans for football, softball, and baseball brings a heck of a situation in all of a sudden with Kelly Bryant. What
he's staying.
Is he?
He's staying. Yeah.
Do you stay?
I think so. Breaking news: unless you're in a playoff, the bowls don't matter.
No, just the overall malaise that the program is in. More was what I was thinking.
He needs to go play football someplace. They're going to have a good football team.
By the way, what I was mentioning a second ago, this coming from Nicole Auerbach's, where I found it yesterday. On the NCAA Missouri call with David Roberts, the chief hearing officer for the panel, I asked if schools are now being encouraged not to cooperate or tell the truth. Roberts replied, quote, you can certainly make that argument. The NCAA admits that yesterday.
Yeah, Gabe DeArmond asked on the call of Roberts, basically, one could argue that the message is being sent that you're better off not cooperating. And he said, basically, yeah, one could make that argument.
I mean,
it's a totally corrupt, completely inept, incompetent group that has been given mass power by the schools themselves. One of these days, the schools are going to come to their senses and break away from the NCAA. The Power 5 schools are going to go, this is freaking stupid. There's going to come a common sense moment where all these academicians and such and these stuffed suits in athletic departments all over the country, and God bless y'all, some of y'all aren't, but some of you are going to say, oh, this is absolute effing BS. And they're going to come up with a plan to break away and to treat this like what it is, which is a big business and not this pie in the sky. Oh, we're just here for the student athletes. You're here for the money. Shut the F up. If college athletics was truly chase about purity and competition, there would be 10,000 people at the swim meet. Standing room only at the rifle competition.
as a break into that, one thing I did enjoy yesterday was Godfrey doing his best Dale Carnegie impression with a couple tweets on Twitter. He starts out with, Mizzou tutor was doing homework for athletes. I've seen how their J school grads write. Doesn't surprise me.
I love
and
Stephen
then follows
Godfrey.
it up with, I'm sure sports journalism's Mizzou Mafia will decry the corrupt culture that fostered a win-at-all-cost mentality and the sullying of amateurism in just a few minutes, ... He is so not getting invited to St. Elmo's here soon. I mean, that invitation is getting lost in so many mailboxes at this point.
And Pat Forty and Wright Thompson and all the other Mizzou people are just furious. No one can figure out how to respond.
That is relevant here, though, because that's why this
absolutely
didn't get brought up.
It's absolutely relevant, and it's why I tell young journalists when they say, I'm thinking about journalism, then go to Missouri because all the jobs are there. It's a great program. They do a great work. They produce – kids get jobs out of college. Kids get jobs out of college. You're sending your kid wants to go into journalism. If you cannot afford Northwestern and Syracuse, you should send your kid to Missouri. The money that you're going to spend on fraternities – at Ole Miss or State or Alabama or something. No. Take that money and put it in the out-of-state tuition and go to Missouri because those kids get out of school with the job. Ed Meek, you can get mad at me, though. I don't think you have the power you used to have the last time you got mad at me. That's the truth. They get jobs, but you're exactly right. Why did this not get covered?
Mizzou.
It's Mizzou. I just think national alums. They have a lot of high-power national alums who said, I'm not touching this.
Well, and he's a secondary member even without graduation. I mean, all of a sudden Dan Wolken goes, oh, no, really unfair here. Really unfair here.
And it is unfair.
It is, but we're picking and choosing now.
Yes.
We're seeing who the victim is prior to deciding if it's homicide or not at this point.
The Ole Miss case was unfair. After the first, it was fine up until the first one. To a degree, a lot of that was nitpick crap. And here's the newsflash. This academic thing happens everywhere.
Of course.
Everywhere. I love the people, man. I'm not trying to make fun of anybody, but the people who are like, I'm shocked. Really? Are you serious? Do you ever watch interviews with these kids? Not all of them, but there's a lot of kids playing college sports that are only in college because of sports.
And here's where this thing's getting even stickier moving forward. I mean, I highly doubt it involves Ole Miss just because I don't want to cover it, knock on wood. But
no doubt.
This is imper cooperation thing. I mean, North Carolina fought like hell and won.
Yes.
Missouri gets beat because they cooperated. Ole Miss gets beat because they cooperated.
Yes.
The NCAA's changed a lot of rules now. They've got this stupid compulsory cooperation thing going around now where if they deem that you're not 100% helpful, they just add even more onto you now. They've even changed their rules from exemplary cooperation now for new cases where they just hit you anyway no matter what you do.
But don't you, Chase, if you get hit with that, if they come at you, don't you still go, oh, no,
yeah, because the other way is doing you no good, so I'll try my chances with that way.
I mean, if you're getting hammered.
Because they still got to prove something. Well, loosely, but you know what I mean. They still got to compile evidence. So if I don't help with the evidence, I still get off better than the other way.
But they've got evidence on all these basketball deals, and nothing's going to happen. Nothing is going to happen. Nothing is going to happen. People have made accusations. A kid's going to come in here on Saturday and play against Ole Miss Peters, and the accusation has been made, Chase, in a court of law.
Yeah, real documents, real wiretaps.
That he got paid X thousand a month to go there. That is an improper benefit. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm saying where the hell's the investigation? Because the accusation has been made in a court of law, in a hearing where people can go to jail, prison. Where's that investigation? The organization, and I can hear the Mississippi State people, and by the way, y'all should keep listening because we're going to talk about you in a little while. I can hear them going, oh, see, there he is being a homer. No, I'm not being a homer. I'm simply, I'm the guy that is advocating for the Power Five to go, hey, let's come to our senses here. It's time to break away. We're making $1 gazillion. There's a solution here. Is an Olympic model we could adopt. There's ways to reimburse kids. There's ways to make this easier. There are ways to do this. And then you can take what's left and let that be pure college athletics. Because ULM's, in all serious, all ULM jokes aside, that's the wrong school because I do so many ULM jokes.
Arkansas State.
Arkansas State's not paying kids to come play football. Those kids are going for a scholarship. Middle Tennessee's not paying kids to play football.
They'll load up some refrigerators occasionally.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm not talking about the booster that on Sunday morning goes to Kroger and buys some ground beef and a couple of taco kits and some stuff and make sure that the kid has some food in his refrigerator. And if you're against that, well, screw you.
Yeah.
This is the wrong show for you. I mean, if we're not talking about the guy that runs over to the Kroger before he leaves town on Saturday night or Sunday morning and spends $60 at the grocery store so that the kid will have some food in his pantry. If that bothers you, well then God bless you. Are one hell of a Puritan. I'm talking about the kids that are getting cars, houses. That's not happening at App State. I mean, I know Kellenberger tries to buy players over there, but for the most part, those programs are pretty clean. Let them operate one way, and then let the big-time schools operate in another. And, yeah, you do have to have some sort of governing body, but it's time for some common sense. Nike and Adidas are not clamoring to get kids to East Tennessee. They are fighting for the Zion Williamson of the world, though. I mean, they just are, Chase. It's a different deal, man. And it's time to treat it differently. You can't govern this much disparity with one board. It doesn't work.
Look, Mizzou's not going to win the appeal.
Of course
no one ever
not.
wins the appeal.
Well,
92% of the cases are exactly kept up per
Ole Miss
Godfrey.
kind of won its appeal a little, sort of.
They didn't get the postseason ban removed. That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
The things that matter from a timetable standpoint is more what I'm saying.
I will say
Now,
this.
they've got some really harsh recruiting penalties in there that are stupid.
Yes.
That had nothing to do with recruiting at all.
That are superfluous.
So if you told me they could get a little bit of that mitigated, maybe if there's some dude with some common sense that's not just on the take, which is a hell of a coincidence probably, but either way.
Where's the AD that comes out and goes, this is, pardon my language, everyone, this is bullshit. Let's have the press conference. Here's what happened. This is bullshit. I'm so tired of all the link. That's why I'll never take a job in athletics departments. I would not be able to manage the PR spin.
Couldn't open your press conference with talking about how you're a voluntary member of the NCAA?
No. I would open the press conference with, for whatever reason, we cooperated.
Man, that was stupid.
I just got out of the shower after getting violated. This is bullshit. Have at it. And I'd tell Greg Sankey to, whatever you want to do, man.
Have at it.
Go for it. But I'd sell more tickets.
The approval rating would increase.
The approval rating
of Everest.
of the people that matter would skyrocket.
Yeah.
Look at last week. I simply tell Robertson, you're an idiot, and we raised $7,000 for charity. And most people don't really like me. Imagine that.
Common goal. Yeah, man. My point being, if you're Missouri, you're better off just taking it, aren't you? I mean, you're not. They're going to appeal, but you're just pushing everything back. You're keeping everything moving. Well, okay. No, sorry. Let me put it this way. I don't appeal the bowl ban. I go ahead and get the bowl ban out of the way. I appeal the other stuff.
I got a hot take.
Okay.
They're going to have a really good team. They lost Drew Lock and really nothing else.
So you sacrifice the next season.
I might do this. And this is a little hot takey, and I haven't thought it all the way out.
All right.
Jeffrey would say, get your mitts out. And this is not a mitt thing. The appeal's going to be ongoing in November.
Yeah.
If I'm 5-3 through 8, yes, screw it. I'll take my bowl ban. We don't get to go back to the Liberty Bowl, God forbid.
Yeah.
But if I'm like 7-1, 8-1,
Rot it.
I might say, you know what? We think we're going to win on appeal. Screw it. We're going to a bowl. And I get two things at that moment. One, your kids go, oh, hell yeah. And two, your fans go, honey, we're going to Orlando.
Yeah.
We're going to Tampa. We are going. And all of a sudden, every bowl in the country would go, I want Missouri. I want Missouri. Pissed off, happy people coming over? Yep. In. Because if you're the Outback Bowl, you really only have one concern. Tickets. It's like if Ole Miss were to go, and look, they're not. I don't. Before anybody says McCready said, nope. But if Ole Miss were to go 8-4 this year, just out of miracle, and go to the Jackson, what's it called? The Tax Slayer Gator, whatever. They take 50,000 people to that damn thing.
Yeah.
Who do you want? You want the up-and-comer who hadn't been there in a little while, or the pissed-off fan base. You don't want upset, not
I mean, look, we can keep this local. The ultimate bowl team ever was that 2008 Cotton Bowl team.
Yeah.
The team that won like 5 in a row and is hot and hadn't been to a bowl since 2003 all day.
Yeah, I mean,
the Cotton Bowl was salivating as they were getting close to that selection.
Yeah, Ole Miss took 50,000 people to Dallas and drank the town.
Yeah.
Dallas ran out of beer. Texas likes beer.
Now, you appeal the crap out of all the recruiting penalties.
Oh,
because those are so dumb. And you frankly, for two reasons. One, because you might get them mitigated. And two, to figure out how you're going to manage it, to give you some time here. I mean, we talked to Siski and stuff before Ole Miss had the unofficial visitor restriction taken away. It was a lot of time to just figure out, what are we going to do? How are we going to manage this?
Well, I mean,
7 weeks of no visitors or something?
I feel confident in saying this now, or comfortable saying this now. Tyler Siskey spent the better part of a year formulating a plan for had that appeal not been won. And I'm not getting into the Matt Luke thing or the not Matt Luke thing because, quite frankly, I'm not in the mood. But when people act like, oh, no, this is year 4 or whatever it is, I guess this would be year 3.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of, not really. They spent a lot of, if y'all don't think the Ole Miss program got put in purgatory for a couple of years, you really don't understand the process.
Yeah.
And if you don't understand the process, don't feel bad because it's a ridiculously complicated, stupid, bureaucratic process. Like Gabe said on the podcast yesterday, he goes, well, they filed an appeal, so I've got to watch that. I said, dude, you've got a year.
Yeah, not tomorrow.
Because that thing's not coming.
Well, they haven't filed it yet. You got weeks before you
got weeks to file it, and then you got to have
we've watched this timeline.
You got to have a subcommittee review it, and then the committee review it, and then take.
You've got so many weeks just to tell them you're going to appeal.
Yeah. Because, man, you got to put that thing on the telegraph machine. Like, I've been listening
Carrier
to this
pigeons.
1865, the telegraphs and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, this is you got to get. This is like the Flintstones. You got to get like the Brontosaurus thing, the Tyrannosaurus, the one that flies.
Oh, yeah.
You got to give it to it, put it in its claws,
Pterodactyl?
a pterodactyl, and hope it goes to the right place because it might not.
Well, we'll go to the right place, and before Valentine's Day, if you rush that shipment, it's Scripted Jewelry. ScriptedJewelry.com is the website. Go check it out. If you haven't, somebody in Ocala, Florida, just ordered a Rachel Lockett. That's a limited edition, only 3 left, so you might want to jump on that if you have.
Ocala, Florida, known for their horse races.
Are they?
Yeah, the horse farms.
Okay, there you go.
Did you know that?
I did not, but okay.
You learn a lot on this show.
There you go. ScriptedJewelry.com. See all the things that people have recently purchased. Find the best way to put a great message for that special someone in your life. Again, Valentine's Day, rush ordering still available, but you got plenty of other things coming up as well, including birthdays, graduations, Mother's Day, and more. So go find something you like at Scripted Jewelry. Remember to use the coupon code REBELS10, REBELS10, for 10% off with ScriptedJewelry.com.
Guest join us on the Patterson and Earhart hotline. Larry Holder joined me on the Patterson and Earhart hotline. Patterson and Earhart, attorneys at law. They specialize in personal injury law, real estate law, but theirs is a general practice that can handle any of your legal needs. When you contact Patterson and Earhart, you speak to one of the partners in the firm, and that's who will handle your case, not some paralegal at a corporate faceless firm. If Patterson and Earhart can't help you, they'll refer you to someone who can. John, Calvin, Patterson, and Wes Earhart are Ole Miss guys. I can't read today. They're local guys, and when you call them, you're going to get one of them on the phone within the same day, guaranteed. So whether you've been injured in a car wreck or have other legal issues, give them a call, 662-526-1992, or check out their website, pelaws.com. Your initial consultation is free. This past Tuesday, Pinnacle Trust hosted their annual economic forecast in Jackson at the Country Club of Jackson. Global Sachs economist John Tousley was there. He highlighted the current state of global economy and financial markets. I don't know if you've watched any news lately. That's been a pretty big topic. The Pinnacle Trust investment team was there as well. They covered a lot of topics ranging from geopolitical risk to tariff negotiations and the Federal Reserve. It's obviously too late for you to attend unless you have a time machine, but you can go online early next week, pintrust.com, PINNtrust.com, and watch the event. You can watch the 1 hour of presentations and probably learn quite a bit. PINNtrust.com. Podcast also brought to you by the Westin Jackson. Restore serenity to your soul there at the Westin Jackson by visiting Soul Spots, the ultimate luxury spa experience in downtown Jackson. Indulge in personalized massages, signature facials, soothing body treatments, and so much more on their extensive spa list. Escape from the everyday, rejuvenate yourself today in their luxury spa. And the podcast brought to you by John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. You know how this works. You call John. He's part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners that allows John to supply his clients with added values and unique benefits that are simply not available to other travelers. Give him some parameters. Hey, here's my budget. Here's kind of what I want to do. Here's what I'm wanting to get out of this vacation. Here's the purpose of the vacation, all that stuff. And then sit back and let John give you options that you'd never find on your own. And you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387, or send him an email, jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast.
Podcast also brought to you by Mastercuts Lawn and Landscape. MastercutsLawn.com, 662-607-7773. You can also email them for that free quote. The email address is info@gomastercuts.com. Get those annual contracts signed, everything from basic maintenance with weeding and edging and all those different things, as well as flower bed repair, landscaping, building structures, fences, decks, and more there with Mastercuts. Again, mastercutslawn.com, 662-607-7773, and keep telling them we sent you. I appreciate when you do that. I also had an email from Apple this morning just telling everybody that is curious. I'll read the paragraph. They send it to all the podcast people. It says, Siri can now help listeners find and subscribe to your show and Apple Podcasts, so spread the word on your website, newsletter, or wherever else you communicate with your audience. For example, to find your show, encourage them to say things like play show name, play my newest podcast, play the first episode of show name. Listeners can also ask Siri for information about the podcast that is currently playing and request to be subscribed. So if you don't like pushing buttons, you just want to, hey Siri, you can do that now to find the podcast. So just passing that along like Apple told me to. So there's that.
There you go.
I meant to mention this yesterday, just quick. A lot of Ole Miss names, or a few Ole Miss names, a lot of SEC names on this Memphis Express roster, this new spring football thing that is happening. I don't know if there's like a local thing where you're supposed to you can protect players from the area or how that works, but I'm looking at the Memphis roster here. Some names people will recognize. Zach Mettenberger from LSU, Christian Hackenberg from Penn State, Zach Stacy at Vanderbilt, the running back, Rajon Neal from Tennessee, Terrence McGee, LSU, DeMario Stringfellow, Ole Miss, obviously, Alton Pig Howard, Tennessee. Let's see, just kind of glancing down through this list. Durante Bolden, Ole Miss, is on this team. Dallas Thomas, Tennessee. And then the interesting one that I found, I knew that he kept playing after Ole Miss, even though he suffered that really bad injury. Christian Morris on this team, former offensive lineman that had some head and neck issues there at Ole Miss when he was done. And then Toby Weathersby from LSU. That's the offensive ones. I'm not going to read everything, but I'm just looking anywhere else for a name that might make some sense to somebody. DeMarcus Gates is on this team from Ole Miss, the linebacker. And I guess that's it. But anyway, I just want to run through those names for you real quick. If you had any interest, they're kind of red, white, and blue. I've seen some uniforms and whatnot. The team that Freeze would have been coaching was the Arizona Hotshots, I believe, had he not taken the Liberty gig. So you can pick your favorite and you become, kind of like Neil did with the Bears. You got to get your team now for the new league. You got to figure it out. So that's
I've got all sorts of new teams now. I've got the Bears. I've got Tottenham Hotspur. I got teams, man.
The EPL team, just to bother your son, gives me a little bit of a weird feeling. I'll be honest. Like that's a little weird to me, but okay. Just saying.
He now says, "Hey, you guys won today," and I'm like, "We did. Who did we play?" And he's like, "You played whoever." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, we killed them. We always kill them. We kill them. They suck." And he's like, "Can you name one player on their team?" And I'm like,
no, but that's."
I always say like Sergio Fernandez, Hector Gomez. He's like, "No, Dad." Sometimes I named one dude, and he goes, "No, he plays for Dortmund or something." And I was like, "Oh, see, he get traded? No, he got transferred."
What do you want to talk about?
Oh, we've got topics.
Okay,
you just decide where you want to go. I'm handing you the keys. I'm trusting you to get off your cell phone driving the car, and you just right. Guide us somewhere.
Well, we'll go here because I know we're going to go here eventually. You teased it a second ago, and
fun.
We've got a little bit of different theory here because I frankly I did a little research when I saw this because it wasn't even I'll lead you there, but I'm giving you a little bit of the backstory first.
Fair enough.
I ran across this on Twitter yesterday afternoon, and I kind of just felt old more than anything else when I saw the graduation date. That's what bothered me in the beginning was like, oh my God! So
because you sent me the text that goes, "When does Carson graduate?"
Yeah, that's how I started. Because I knew it was somewhat in this ballpark. Okay. I didn't know exactly where.
I thought that son of a bitch trying to get rid of me.
He's moving in how many years?
Yeah.
What do we have?
How much longer?
So Well, that was after I'd already insulted you in a text about an hour before that, so I was having a minute. But point being, okay, let me just get here, and then we'll back up and move forward and do what we do. Saw a tweet from Robbie Falk, who works for the Mississippi State 24/7 site. I think it's the only state person I actually follow. I like Robbie. I do, actually. We get along. We talk when we see each other. We've been helpful with that network as helpful as you can be cross networks these days.
I think he hates me a little less than some of the others hate me.
Oh, well, that's a win.
Yeah, I think
we had one little skirmish on a podcast one time, but
if you made me guess, I would guess there's a degree of hatred, but it's probably not as strong as some of the others.
He and I like each other for the most part, or as far as I know. I don't think he probably has a Chase Parham voodoo doll up in his house.
For the record, I don't hate Robbie. I don't know Robbie.
Yeah, and so my issues here are more with the system than anything else.
Yes.
And I'm getting to that. It's he tweets yesterday, 2023, 8th grade, for everybody doing some math. Left-handed pitcher Brody Walker talks Mississippi State commitment. It's a graphic with the kid. I don't know where he's from. I don't know what he's ranked. I don't know anything. Actually, we'll look that up in a minute because
I want to know his damn ranking because I sure hope we're ranking 8th grade baseball players.
Well, we probably are. You may see if he's in perfect game. Are you cringing as I do this, but you want to know?
Cringing in ways that are so difficult for me to explain to you. That's fine.
What did I say his name was?
I don't remember.
We've got time here. Y'all hang around. Brody Walker.
This portion of the podcast brought to you by Stridex. Stridex, if your 13-year-old's having acne problems, Stridex will clean it right up. Stridex.com.
I'm searching.
Brody Walker.
2023, Brandon, Mississippi.
Okay.
Let's see. Left-handed pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
It appears that Perfect Game does not go to 2023 with its rankings. He has a profile page.
I just became a bigger fan of Perfect
He's
Game.
left-handed. He is 14 years old and 6 months is his current age.
So he's 13.
Right now. No, he's 14 and 6 months. Almost 15.
Oh, okay, so he's 14 and a half.
Yeah, current age is 14.
I thought you said 14 in 6 months.
No, sorry.
I was going to say, well, that's 13.
Because of the draft, Perfect Game is really precise about how old kids are.
I understand.
He's 5'11", 170 pounds as of last blush. His fastball velocity is 83 miles an hour.
Okay.
That is increased by 11 miles per hour since some other time that I'm not sure. About a year, which would make sense. He hit puberty. Because the class average, if you're curious, for a fastball at 2023 is 69 miles per hour.
Okay.
Just giving you that little. So he's in the 99th percentile for fastball velocity.
Okay.
So, here's my deal. And I'm full disclosure, I had shock in so many different ways when I first saw it. And I started asking some people, and a lot of media members cringed too that we were interviewing 2023 kids at this point. A lot of just people that I talked to said, basically verbatim, if he's old enough to commit, he's old enough to answer the phone and talk about it. It's the second part of that, the commit, that is starting to freak me out a little bit. And I'll give you some. Let me back up and kind of tell you how this works. Unless you'd like to do that with your hot take, either way, you can come in here and then we can back up.
I'll let you start. I'll reserve the right to intervene.
Okay, look, we're getting closer to baseball being football and basketball and stealing commits and things along those lines. We're getting closer.
Okay,
it's getting there. It happens case by case. Certain schools will nudge it a little bit, but for the most part, there's a gentleman's agreement in college baseball that means when a kid commits to a school, everybody else stops recruiting them. Stops. Cold turkey, boom, over, done. To the point of I've heard of coaches calling other coaches and apologizing and say, sorry, I did not know he'd already committed. My fault. All good. And a lot of reasons for this. Number one, it's an equivalency sport. It's not full scholarships. There's a lot of ham and egg where everything's not apples to apples in baseball and very confusing. Two, there's only 2 full-time assistant coaches that can recruit. So if you've got to recruit multiple classes at one time and you've got to make sure you protect your own kids and go try to steal somebody else's kids, there's not enough hour in the day for that. This is almost one of those just sort of self-sustaining deals that they said, hey, this is good on everybody. Let's just do it this way.
Sure.
But what's happened as time has passed is you realize, hey, you're not going to take in putting in football terms, the 2-star, the low 3-star, and go, hey, let's throw him an offer in the 8th grade because that's going to come back to bite you because that kid's probably going to suck later. But the kids where hey, this dude's going to play, you might hotbox him a little. You might push him a little. You're certainly going to try to get a commitment as early as humanly possible because
no one else will recruit.
Most likely, you can just go throw them over in the storage shed and wait 4 years and see what you got. And that's the problem we have here is you have professional salesmen getting commitments out of these 8th graders and 9th graders before these kids have any idea really what's going on in so many different ways. And the interview thing, at least to me for the most part, is just a sport problem. It's a system problem. And it's something that is just going to get more and more unhealthy, frankly, until it becomes like football where it just becomes open season and then we got a whole other slew of problems coming.
All right, so I'm going to throw out some caveats before I
go
blow it up. Number one, congratulations to the young man. He might very well be a kid that has every intention of going to Mississippi State, whether he's a baseball player or not. Mississippi State.
Probably, honestly, not only this because Brandon, but an in-state kid, he's going to have a lot more idea of, hey, all my parents went here, I'm going to Mississippi State.
Right. So I don't know anything about.
I probably should have read the story, to be frank, before we did this.
I don't know anything about the young man. I don't know anything about his family. Congratulations to him. It sounds like he has a bright future. I hope that no one is killing his arm in some travel team, all that stuff. So, first of all, kudos to him. Second of all, I'm not criticizing Robbie. He works for a network that does quotas and lives off clicks, and you got to do what you got to do. Now, I'm a father of a high school sophomore who just started getting stuff from schools. And that was the right time to start. Late sophomore year, I'm cool with it. I have a 6th grade son who will be 13 in October. Now, he's not an elite athlete. God bless him. He's got the wrong genes. But he's nowhere close to being able to make a decision about college. Nowhere close to being able to make a decision about college. And if he were to say today, hey, Dad, I'm committing to fill in the blank, that commitment should not be binding. And it should not prevent other people from recruiting.
Yeah, North Carolina calls Carson today and goes, I want you to sign a soccer scholarship.
Oh, well, I mean, okay.
Or I want you to commit. Sorry,
okay, we'll commit. But now, are they bound to that? Because if he doesn't fully let's take this kid, for example, and say that he just hit puberty early. It's probably not the case. I certainly don't wish that for the kid, but let's just say it does. Because we all see that happen. The kid who was the best player at 13 is not the best player at 18 because he stopped growing.
No, I mean, I'm not calling a name. There was a kid in our, and I remember exactly, in Little League, had the full beard and threw 85 miles an hour, and he was the same kid at 18. There was
give you
nothing.
One. Dylan Moses.
Yeah.
I mean, still a really good player.
Obviously, he's still a good player, but a freak show
when
growing up.
And everybody did the projections. Well, he didn't continue along.
And you
those
couldn't
lines.
even figure out what position he was supposed to play because his body kept doing things that were like, well,
right.
I don't really know where to put him now.
And he ended up as a linebacker, and he's a good linebacker. And I'm not he'll play in the NFL. I'm not criticizing Dylan Moses, but you understand my point. He ended up not being one of the top 5 players in the class. So,
and real quick here, not to cut you off, but two credits to Robbie here. He got 2 quotes and got the heck out.
Yes.
As fast as possible, it looks like. And B, I could almost visibly see a cringing in his writing where he puts all these caveats about how early it is very on in the story and makes complete context to what's going on. So I actually, in reading this, if you're going to do it, A+ on the way you did it.
Yes. I'm not criticizing Robbie at all.
Not at all. This is not a personal attack.
But the networks should put a stop to this. I mean, I've told Russell, do not write about an 8th grader. Do not write about a 9th grader. I mean, we made a joke about it, like unless his name is Manning, don't do it. And frankly, we're kidding about that. I don't want articles about Arch Manning. I know he's out there. He's also a person. He's a human, and he's young. Young people don't need this crap thrown at them in the 8th grade. Mm-hmm. They don't, man. I mean, I've got a 6th grader. He's not ready for anything like that and won't be for the next several years. We need to let kids be kids a little bit. Good for this kid. I'm glad. if he wants to go to Mississippi State, and that's probably his dream school, and I bet I'm going to guess there are some family ties, good for him. Awesome. But Mississippi State's not bound to that kid. If he blows his elbow as a junior, they can back away. I just don't like I don't like two things about all this. I don't like how fast the process is going, how early the process is going, and I also don't like that gentleman's agreement in baseball. Other people should be allowed to recruit the kid.
The dad played JUCO baseball at HCC, which could be Holmes or Hines, is my guess. And then the mother actually went to Ole Miss.
Okay.
Because Perfect Game does crazy stuff with giving you information. It's not for me. It's more for scouts,
right,
coaches and stuff. But
right.
Nonetheless, so that is his whatever again.
So, yeah, when someone says, should Ole Miss be able to recruit him? Absolutely. So should Vanderbilt and
because
whoever.
now you're putting the onus on the kid. I mean, in some ways, this is what's bad about it, too. And I mean, I get it that, hey, he did it. Nobody put a gun to his head or anything. But,
sure? I'm kidding. It's a joke.
But point being,
the rivalry has gotten a little caustic.
Now you're putting the onus on the kid to be the flip-flopper, though, when in 10th grade, his interest just changed.
Yes, exactly.
In 2 years, 700 days from now, the kid goes, well, I mean, Lamonis, maybe he's the coach of the Red Sox, and now all of a sudden this and that. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, well,
Jay Tate and I on the Greatest Pod in the South yesterday had this debate about how our jobs will be different in 5 years because of how different they are than they were 5 years ago. I guarantee you the Mississippi State program and the Ole Miss program and the Vanderbilt program and everything will be somewhat different in 4 years than it is today.
Probably not Vanderbilt, but the rest of them I'll give it to you.
It'll be different. Something will be different.
I'll have 9 guys that throw 98 instead of 7.
Yeah,
but sure.
Whatever. The game's going to change. The programs are going to change. Things change. Assistants won't be the same.
Right.
Stuff will happen. Mike's going to not get to Omaha. I'm kidding. It's a joke. Things change. You can't project precisely what's going to be the case in 5 years.
Yeah. All right, G&M Pharmacy on South Lamar. Give them a call at 662-236-2222. Vote for them in the OxfordEagle.com. Best of Oxford. You can find that online pretty easily. As I told you a couple days ago, I had to go to the doctor. Didn't call ahead or anything. Walked right in G&M, handed them the prescriptions. About 23 minutes, I was out the door with them in my hand. They turn them around fast for you. They get to know you, and you get the personal service also. I'm going to tell you about all the compounds I've told you about for a while. They've got everything from Finnegan gel for nausea and vomiting. You got acne and eczema, skin condition compound creams, erectile dysfunction, and much more. So just give them a call. Ask them about it. You'll be glad you did. Again, 662-236-2222.
Speaking of baseball, 2019 OPC baseball and softball. Registration runs through February the 8th. That's 1 week from today. Cost is $50 per child. If you haven't signed up your son or daughter to play baseball and softball with OPC this spring, the deadline is just 2 weeks away. Leagues open at age 5. All games are played at the state's top facility, F&C Park. The season will begin for both sports on April the 8th, so visit oxfordparkcommission.com for more details. I think Carson's going to play OPC baseball for the hell of it this summer.
Really?
Or spring, yeah.
Is that good?
Yeah, why not? His experience with travel baseball was suboptimal.
Yeah, that's probably a fair way to put it.
I could talk a lot. Podcast also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, that's the place to go. Grenada Nissan has a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles. Go in, test drive one today. Tell Gene and Sandy that you heard about Grenada Nissan on the podcast. You'll get Rebel savings on top of the already great deals at Grenada Nissan. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. Podcast also brought to you by Harry Alexander. Harry is an Oxford-based RE/MAX Legacy Realty agent. He's been in Oxford more than 4 decades. No one knows the residential and condo market better than Oxford, better than Harry. Go to his site, harryalexander.com. Click on the Properties and Neighborhoods tab. Filter through by what you are looking for, and then he'll take care of the rest. Send him an email. It's ha@harryalexander.com. And the podcast is brought to you by Oxford University Bank. OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits Go right back into the Oxford community. OUB offers you the comfort of home, all the benefits the big mega banks provide, all the technology and products you can want, all with the personal touch. When you call OUB, you speak directly with a live person, all without having to press 10 buttons and without a 5-minute wait. OUB offers its customers the absolute best cash checking account. It's called Kasasa, and with Kasasa, OUB will pay customers 2.5% interest on their balances up to $50,000 and refund ATM fees nationwide. To learn more about OUB, check out liveoxford.bankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured.
Podcast is brought to you by Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. Underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. You're getting local underwriting and understands your market. Leader in condo financing in Oxford and the float down option, which allows you to lock in the current rate. But if rates go down before you close, you get the lower rate. 662-234-2704 or JLO, JLOWE at communitymtg.com. What time's the basketball game tomorrow?
Just getting ready to tell you that. The Ole Miss men's basketball team returns to the Pavilion tomorrow, take on Mississippi State. Game begins at 2:30. Standing room only tickets remain, can be purchased at the Pavilion ticket office on game day. For more information, visit OleMissSports.com. You don't want to miss the second running of the Baby Dega 500 at halftime. That is actually one of those fun promotions. That was fun to watch, where the babies crawl to the mom and stuff. It's kind of fun. The Ole Miss baseball season right around the corner. Season tickets start at just $150. For the number 13 preseason ranked Diamond Rebels to purchase, visit OleMissTix.com. And tomorrow as well, the Ole Miss women's tennis team back at the William Galtney Indoor Center. Not tomorrow, it's on Sunday. I'm sorry, Sunday. Neil Reed. Sunday, February the 3rd, they take on Tulane at noon. For more information, visit OleMissSports.com. Has this week been slow to you? Like it should be like next Tuesday right now.
I don't know. I've been kind of busy. I've had some doctor stuff. I've got a kid having surgery Monday morning. This week's been a mess. I don't know if I'm washing or hanging out at this point, but it's Friday, right? It is Friday.
Yeah, but it should be like next Tuesday. This week has just gone so slow.
Think so?
No, so.
Ole Miss 40th currently in the Ken Palm. If you're interested in that, just happen to notice it. Mississippi State is sitting at
probably about the same.
28, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, something like that.
Need to win.
Oh well, yeah, they've lost three of the last four, 2 in a row and 3 of the last 4.
Yep.
State is 21st in offensive efficiency per Ken Palm. They're 61st in defensive efficiency, so pretty strong there. They are probably without Nick Weatherspoon. There was no structural damage in that knee. However, last I saw, they were still evaluating a timeline for his return. So I did not get the warm and fuzzies he would play tomorrow, but last thing I saw about mid-morning yesterday was there was no structural damage.
That's great news for him. He's a great player. I can't imagine that he's going to be able to play Saturday, although we're not all created the same, and some people heal faster than others. I'm guessing they're probably – it was a guess, total guess. I have no idea. I'm guessing that they are breathing a sigh of relief and trying to get him well for the next couple of weeks.
They are 3-4 in the SEC. They won their last home game against Auburn. They also beat Vanderbilt on the road and Florida at home. Their losses coming on the road to South Carolina, at home to Ole Miss, on the road at Kentucky, and then on the road at Alabama here recently. So that is where they are sitting as of right now. Important game for both teams, but huge for Ole Miss to get this first one in a pretty gettable stretch if you play well. So that's the big thing for the Rebels, is there's opportunity if they just take advantage of it as they move forward. But nonetheless, there's that schedule tomorrow. If you are a basketball junkie and you're curious, I can give that to you. Alabama is at Auburn Arena, 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Kentucky is at Florida. That is TBD on my schedule, and I have no idea why. But Kentucky at Florida tomorrow at Exact Tech Arena. It does, however, still say the O'Connell Center on the floor at Florida. I noticed that on Wednesday night as we were discussing that.
Created a revenue stream.
Yeah, it's good. Smart. South Carolina at Georgia. Interesting game there, I guess, sort of in a bad way. Arkansas at LSU. I like the Tigers at home in that one. Vanderbilt at Missouri. Somebody's got to win a basketball game. Missouri at Ole Miss, State at Ole Miss, and then Tennessee at Texas A&M. Frankly, that's a pretty dud schedule, Mr. McCready. That is separated out about as bad as you can get. Ole Miss and State, the best game of the day tomorrow.
Yeah, Ole Miss and State, best game of the day. It's 2:30. I figure I'll be done by 6:15, 6:30. Just me and Carson tomorrow night. Gonna be a party. Gonna go
There
crazy.
is no hype for the Super Bowl at all. No buzz. Nothing.
None.
Just
Here's the truth. Yesterday, it's the truth. People can go, oh God, here comes the NBA talk. I'm not talking about the NBA, but here's what's interesting. Yesterday in the sports world, it was a Thursday before the Super Bowl. Bryce Harper news came out that he's meeting with the San Diego Padres. And the story of the day, the two biggest sports stories of the day, I watched all the shows to see, were an NBA trade and developments on a trade that may or may not happen. The NBA has been able to create enough of a soap opera that leads sport. They got the lion's share of the coverage yesterday. And it's also because no one in America really cares about the Super Bowl except for the people in Boston. Don't tell me about the Rams fans. There's like 7 of them. Your brother's one. There's like 7 Rams fans.
well, because the people that were fans of the Rams in St. Louis now hate them because they left. So it's this weird.
And most of the people in L.A. are like, we have a football team? Oh, you have 2. Really? UCLA?
Yeah, USC. They're good, right?
I thought they were bad this year. UCLA made the Super Bowl? Bridget, did you know that? No, I was out surfing.
NFL page on ESPN.com as of right now. The main story, 2 days before the Super Bowl, whatever it is. Headline, Inside the Taboo, Bizarre, Revealing World of Stadium Bathrooms. Is above the fold on the NFL page of ESPN.com. Some of this is that, obviously, in their minds, controlling the message and whatever, dudes ain't saying nothing during Super Bowl media days. There's no, hey, I'm going to take a shot, I'm going to do something, I'm going to be funny. Bull Durham, Bull Durham, Bull Durham, Bull Durham for 3 straight days or whatever it is.
Happy to be here.
That's what a lot of it is it's, hey, ain't nobody saying a word. Because the biggest story of the week in the NFL, Sean Payton's T-shirt.
Yeah. Just happy to be here. Want to help the ball club?
Yes.
Good Lord willing.
I mean, there's some good features on some inspirational stories, but those aren't moving dials and going viral or anything. Positivity does not sell that way.
Patriot fatigue, and people think the Rams are illegitimate.
And it's a small fan base.
7.
Because even if it was if it's the Packers or the Cowboys or the Steelers, and even if they're a little legitimate, it's still a big franchise, and it's a lot of fans, and it's a national team.
The country wanted Chiefs Saints.
Yeah.
The country wanted to fall in love with Patrick Mahomes, and everybody likes Drew Brees, and that was the game that everybody wanted.
And they felt cheated out of it.
By the way, Beer Garden's up with Larry Holder. I'll tell you this because you'll be interested. I asked about Drew Brees and the fall off. He thinks it has more to do with 2 things than it does Brees' age. Thinks it has more to do with the fact that Brees only had 1 receiver that he really trusted, and then Kamara. And he also thinks that teams started figuring them out a little bit because they were so limited because of their personnel at receiver.
Look, that's the truth. I was talking to multiple people about this. Jeffrey and I had this conversation so many different times. It's a cute story that Brees threw a touchdown to so many different people and whatever. He just had a bunch of dudes. He had no talent other than Michael Thomas at the wide receiver position. And while Thomas is very, very, very good, he's not Antonio Brown.
No, and Larry said that.
I mean, he's throwing to Arnold, Hill, and Kirkwood.
Yeah,
in
Larry
the
said that he
playoffs.
didn't think that Brees really trusted those guys.
No, I mean,
It's worth listening to. If you're a Saints fan, it's worth listening to. It's a short time, and then if you're an NBA fan and you want to talk about the Anthony Davis stuff, that's worth listening to as well. And I'll say this, if you're an NBA fan, that trade yesterday might really change the landscape of the NBA in 6 months.
really.
The Knicks now, the New York Knicks, who will likely get the first pick in the draft. And this year the first pick in the draft is a real impact player, have 2 max slots available.
They're doing something.
Kevin Durant's a Knick next year.
Think so?
And I won't be shocked if Kyrie Irving is a Knick with him. Which will really incentivize Boston to make a major offer for Davis.
I get where markets don't matter as much in the NBA, but I do think the NBA is better when the Knicks are good.
Well, the NBA would love the Knicks to be good.
Yeah. The Knicks being good is interesting.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Well, for this reason, Madison Square Garden, it remains this mecca to the players. You see players go in and play in New York and have these great games, and the Knicks suck and have sucked for years. And you're like, what's the deal? I'm in the Garden, man. I mean, I always dreamed of playing. I mean, we all forget that these 27-year-old superstars, they were 10 years old one day. They were 12, 13-year-old boys out on the playground or in their backyard or whatever saying, all right, I'm playing in the Garden.
Yeah.
And now you're playing in the Garden.
I'm Patrick Ewing.
Yeah. And so, yeah, the NBA would love nothing more than to have some epic NBA games. Back in the day when the Knicks were good with Patrick Ewing and stuff, and the Bulls would come into Madison Square Garden, it was awesome. You didn't have to like the NBA to like that. But Zion Williamson, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving on the Knicks next year, you don't think they might get some TV time, do you? Next year, I'm just telling you, next season is going to be one of those epic, entertaining seasons in the NBA. People who follow the league literally cannot wait for next year. Because the Warriors are going to be broken up, and there's going to be 8 to 10 teams with a legitimate shot at the title.
I'll tell you quickly to visit oxfordms.com for everything going on around town this weekend. You got Lee Perdugo and the King of Scars at Off Square Books today at 5 o'clock. Tomorrow, ladies, 4%. Ole Miss Baseball, 3rd Annual Ladies Forum, 8 to 5 at Swayze Field tomorrow. Also, kind of a neat deal here, the Oxford Food Tours from 12 to 3. You can see that at oxfordfoodtours.com to see all the different things. But it'll feed you lunch. It'll give you some information and different things along the way as well. Men's basketball tomorrow. Oxford Film Festival starts February 6th. It runs through February 10th. And just get out and about. Plenty of things to do. You can see contact information, list of restaurants and hotels and more there at visitoxfordms.com.
I'll make a hotel recommendation for you. Home 2 Suites Oxford. Brand new facility. It's great. Right next door to a restaurant that just opened yesterday. Stuff happening in that part of Oxford. Right off the Old Taylor Road exit, they have opened up their football 2019 reservations. So give them a call, 662-238-3400. They have some availability for double-decker weekend. Last I checked, they had a little bit of availability for Grove Bowl weekend. So 662-238-3400, Home 2 Suites, Oxford. It would be a great place to make as your home base for the Ole Miss football season and more. This podcast also brought to you by Dead Soxy. Been telling you that Dead Soxy would be informing you of new products and opportunities. They're pleased to announce a way for you, the Rebel Grove community, to be a part of the process and the creation of new sock concepts. There's still limited quantities of the Mississippi sock line available, and in an effort to launch a new line, they are increasing the discount to 30% off all items. As this original Mississippi line comes to a conclusion, don't miss your opportunity to feel the difference a quality sock makes. Additionally, there will be new concept pictures forthcoming where they really want your honest feedback and input as to what resonates with you. For all of you who have tried a single or a couple pairs, now's the time to round out your week's worth with 30% off. And if you haven't tried, now's a great time to try that first pair of Dead Soxy socks. You'll be back online ordering more before you know it. DeadSoxy.com. Enter the code RebelGrove at checkout for 30% off at checkout.
Is this true? The tutor's like making all sorts of things on Twitter and stuff? Sitting on the board?
She's got a Twitter page.
Yeah, apparently it's...
Her Twitter page was kind of nondescript yesterday. Maybe she's added some stuff.
I think she might have added some stuff. If this is actually the
it's like Muslim Girl 1970, something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What's she saying?
I don't know. 13 hours ago, she put up a picture of a shirt that says Tutor of the Month and has the Missouri logo on it. It kind of cracked me up. Staying with the state theme, Jeffrey Simmons not invited to the NFL Combine. Probably knew that was going to happen. It hit Chad Kelly. It's hit some others. I get it. I don't necessarily have a problem with it. I don't think this is a hot take. It's just I'm sort of wishy-washy on this. In essence, private teams, private organizations, I do have a little bit of problem with dictating the terms as a league on who the teams can work out in that venue a little bit. Just overall. It's not about Simmons or Chad or anybody else.
It's become a media
overall.
event. It's become
that's the reason, and I get it.
It's become a media event. The NFL.
Well, because they're protecting themselves like everything else. They're keeping those kids away from the microphones at their event. But so the reporters go, what'd the scouts say about whatever? What'd they say about whatever? Do you regret that? Here's what happened, blah, blah, blah.
Well, here's the deal. There's always a negative to anything, right?
Yeah, of course.
The NFL starts fall camps in late July.
They do.
The NFL has preseason in August, which has become bigger than anything else in August. The NFL starts its season in September, and that season rolls all the way through the first Sunday of February. Mm-hmm. The NFL is absolute king that entire time with no exceptions, with the exception of like Christmas Day and New Year's Day.
Yeah.
The NFL owns that period of time. Then the NFL launches into draft stuff. It owns all of that time up until the draft, including their off-season stuff where guys become free agents and trades and whatnot. The NFL only has a short period of time where they say, "Hell, okay, well, you guys, I tell you what, basketball, NBA, we're going to give you your playoffs. It's cute. Go for it. We'll surrender the 4th of July to you, Major League Baseball, and then we'll come back." They need it to be positive as much as possible, so they're not going to invite.
They're not inviting negative storylines into their event.
And they're not going to have Jeffrey Simmons is not going to be at the draft in Nashville. What's going to be fascinating is when teams meet and go, okay, this kid's an elite defensive player. He's a stud. There's also this video of him beating the out of a woman. Mm-hmm. What do we do? Tough. People can say what you want to say, but and good for the Me Too movement. I'm happy about it. I'm a person. I don't believe in beating up girls. If you're an organization, is that worth it? Is it worth it? Pick a team. You're the Detroit Lions. Is it worth it? When everyone shows that video, and they absolutely will, I'm in media, they will. And the backlash that comes, and it will come, and it is legitimate backlash. Is it worth it?
If you're reasonably as certain as humanly possible he's not going to have some sort of flare-up in your organization, it's worth it.
But understand, if you draft that guy,
I get it.
And then something happens,
it's a gamble now. I'm not
your
saying
ass
that,
is done.
But if I know he's a productive citizen and I can PR him, probably offset it and be okay. And I'm not saying I'd do it, but that'd be your window.
All right, you're the general manager of the Atlanta Falcons. Sorry, they offered you a lot of money.
I'll take it.
You're the GM of the Atlanta Falcons. You're picking 9th. And I don't know the draft order before anybody sends me the emails.
They're 13th or 14th because I made fun of it on Twitter about a month ago.
All right. 13th.
Yeah. Something like that.
He's fallen to you. There you are. You're on the Atlanta Falcons are on the clock. General Manager Chase Parham. There he is, live look into the Falcons war room. There's Parham.
Legibly write a name on a piece of paper.
You got to make a call. It's your call. Ownership has signed off on it with the following. What's his name? Blank.
Arthur Blank. Yeah.
Arthur Blank says to you, all right, Parham, I'll sign off on Simmons.
But it's your tale.
Let me tell you this. He gets in trouble beating up a woman in our city, he's cut, and your ass is fired. This is your decision, Parham, if it works out badly. If it works out well, I'm going to take some of the credit. If it works out badly, this is your call. The Falcons are on the clock.
I've vetted him like crazy. And if every bit of it comes out positive or okay, yeah, I take it.
Okay.
I do. Players win games. Players change narratives. Games wins. That's what changes the day. Yeah,
okay.
Take it. You've seen instances of this getting pushed away. I mean, we're 2-3 years into Joe Mixon. It's over. Nobody talks about it. He's just a running back. Day to day, he's just a running back.
That's true.
That's what he is.
It's true.
Yeah, it pops some people because they keep screwing up, but, just running back. Yeah, do it. No doubt. I mean, as soon as that came down, Dylan sent me a text, please let him fall to 32. And he was being funny about 32, obviously, but he was, hey, let's fall to 32.
I think you'll believe me when I say
Redemptive quality of man, Neil.
I pass. I find another player.
I get it. But you're not getting value at whatever number we're talking about at that point that's the same. On the field.
On the field. I think the environment has changed. I'll say this about the Cubs. I think the Cubs have to be so careful about this Addison Russell thing to the point that I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand it. Why would you alienate the female portion of your fan base? Russell's deal's worse than Simmons. Simmons was a young kid. It's bad. Don't get me wrong.
It's horrid, but we've had 3 years of no further issues.
I'm not excusing it at all.
No.
Addison Russell did it to his wife, the mother of his children. I pass. I absolutely pass. And I understand that if I'm the Falcons, I pass and he ends up in Tampa and I can't block that son of a bitch for the next 5 years, that I'm in trouble. But I pass.
Feels like he's going to be a Patriot, doesn't it?
Oh, if you make a pick? Because the Patriots done.
It feels Patriots.
So the Patriots so there's no chance he's worse than Hernandez, and we've survived that. Get him.
Yeah. Oh, man. It's crazy. I don't know. Yeah, no. I understand it. I mean, again, because all this is under the caveat, though, of 100% vet positive. 100.
Everyone's going to vet him. But if you're – come on. If you're capable of throwing –
look, anything could happen, sure.
If you're capable of throwing multiple punches at a woman once, you're capable of doing it again. Doesn't mean you will do it, but it means you're capable.
I mean, it's all hypothetical. Obviously, I'm not going to be the GM of the Falcons anytime soon, or especially prior to the NFL draft. But
no, I don't like your chances of getting that gig between now and then.
I just pull a lot of strings. So, anyway,
for the sake of the hypothetical, I needed to put you in that spot.
Yeah, no, I understand. Because that's about the right range too. It's that mid pick that you go.
Yeah.
Because you still got some options that are very good at that point. It's not like you're, would your third round pick, would you take?
Okay.
Sure,
yeah.
whatever. Because then my value's down when I'm paying him.
I didn't pay him much, and if it doesn't work out, I can tell the media, he just took a flyer.
Well, I mean.
No one takes a flyer in the first round.
Nobody beat up the Broncos for taking Chad Kelly. And now, look, Chad had nothing anywhere close to this, but you know what I mean. My point.
7th round.
Yeah, who cares?
No investment.
Yeah. Just cut him, move on with your day, which they ended up doing after.
That's what they did. As soon as he got in trouble, bye.
Yeah. Harder to do that with a first-round pick. It's like in baseball when you give a kid $5 million, he's got a lot more leash than a lot of other kids do.
You can give him every shot.
Yeah. All right, we'll have baseball throughout the week. We'll have basketball. We'll have football. Recruiting signing day is Wednesday. It's not really the real signing day anymore, but signing day is Wednesday. As Ole Miss will sign a few guys, keep some guys for the transfer portal part of the year now, all these words we use. And we'll be back with another podcast on Tuesday. Again, no show on Monday because of some surgery for Carly Ann, getting tonsils out and getting the sinuses worked on. So we'll be doing that on Monday morning. Back with a podcast on Tuesday. Talk to you then.